Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WYTV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Hey, friends, come and join me for just a minute and imagine how amazing you'd feel living the unique and distinct life that you were put on this planet to live, doing work you love, with people you love, in places you love, and all the while creating something of real value to others. That's what I call a life of significance, and I can tell you it makes a very happy life. And so can my friend, Melissa Kaye, and she's here to share her unique and distinct journey to her life of significance. But before we bring her on, I'd like to share a poem that we created to thank her for being our guest star today. We're calling it When Grace Becomes a Calling, and it goes like this. When grace becomes a calling, it forges discipline with art. It blends a champion's focus and years of motion into excellence shaped by heart. From stage lights to a higher mission, Melissa encourages, empowers, and gives, founding Elevate Villages where underserved youth find support, rebuild, and live. Her talent guided by compassion, her strength helping others to try. When grace becomes a calling, that's when a life aligns with its why.
Mm.
Hey, Melissa, welcome to the show.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. What a way to bring me on. Um, Thank you. Thank you. That was beautiful. So beautiful.
You're
And
welcome.
before we get going, can I say congratulations to you, Matt, on the Something Significant podcast being number 17 in the top 100 life purpose podcasts on the web. That's a huge accomplishment. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. And it's because of guests like you. So we'll get us started by telling us what you're doing these days to make your mark of significance on the world, Melissa.
Well, I have moved my whole life so that I can spend all of my time building the nonprofit called Elevate Villages. Now, we don't have any villages yet, but we are building the business foundation of it. And this won't just be housing, this will be actual belonging. This is to serve the youth who've aged out of foster care, most of the
Hmm.
time having been in care for 7 to 14 years with 20 to 30 different placements. So
Hmm.
they're really human beings who've never belonged anywhere. So we're creating systems where they don't fall into isolation. So immediately to support that, where you just started 12 days ago, the Belonging podcast, which is where we're going to talk about our chance to change how we interact with humanity.
Hmm. Very good. And tell us about the fundraising effort that's underway and your national tour that's coming up.
Yeah, so we're going to be launching a national tour, and this is so that we can continue these conversations of belonging throughout the United States. We have 40 cities planned. We'll be meeting with CPS, Children's Services there. We're going to be meeting with churches and with city councils and developers and finding out the needs and really the heart of the community. Is this a community that can support this type of a village? Are there people in the community who will step up to be mentors? Will the police be encouraging and help our youth rather than over
Hmm.
policing them? Just so many different things to think about. So while we're investigating all the different places and planting seeds for future villages, we're also going to be having conversations of belonging. Like even for somebody who doesn't want to be a part of Elevate, learning to belong better, learning to create a space where people do belong, I think can definitely change this world in a lot of ways. So fundraising is ongoing, of course, it's on our website, but really the tour is to really drive that so we can build villages.
And so I put this backdrop in, especially for your episode, because this is just one of my RV trips. And I
Oh, I
think
love it.
your future is going to have a lot of that. So before we leave this part, tell us a little bit about the Belonging Manifesto, what it is, and why'd you create it?
Ooh, this was a little bit before I launched the podcast and just really circling, not in an, I read a lot of academic papers and books on belonging, but then hearing the stories of the youth, I really sat in a period of time where belonging was just in my prayers. It was in my everyday, it was in every interaction. And I was with a group on Zoom and they asked us what we were tending. And I thought that
Hmm.
word, I was like, tending, what am I tending? Like I know what's
Mm,
on my to-do list and I'm trying to build villages, but then I was like, when it came to me, I just said, I'm tending the idea of belonging. And if I truly believe that everyone belongs to me, and I believe belong to everyone, that we all belong together as a human race, which I do, how would I show up differently every day? And so since that day that happened, on a Zoom, I started finding all these little tiny ways that I could help people belong better. Just in a moment, in the grocery store, at the gas station, just the little
mhm.
times that we're so busy, we just don't even see each other. And that led me then one night, a sleepless night, just woke up and wrote the Belonging Manifesto.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
That's from God. I used to think all that midnight thinking and writing and creativity was from me, and I've learned it's beautiful when it happens, and you got to go with it when it happens because it creates some amazing things.
it really does.
Oh, so thank you, Melissa. Now let's do a little mathematics so our friends all around the world can get to know you through our happy formula.
Okay.
It's very simple, but it's also very powerful. And it goes like this: power plus purpose equals happy. So let's start
Okay.
with power. What are your personal practices for building up all the power that you need to get things done, whether it's physical, mental, financial, spiritual, emotional? In other words, Melissa, what do you do on a regular basis to create the power you need to take really good care of yourself and your loved ones and still have plenty in reserve to be a giver to others?
Keeping my cup full. It's a great question. So, first off, for me, I have had to shift in my life from power feeling like a force to power feeling like alignment, like making
Mm,
sure that what I believe and how I live and what my intentions are all aligned properly. So, that would be like the overall. Physically, I walk every day at sunset. It's just a time that it's me and the creator and a bunch of dogs running around, and it's just really renews me after a long kind of intentional mindful day. Also during the day I go outside and get sun on my face at least twice. I
mm,
just stand in the sun, breathe, maybe stretch a little bit if I've been at the computer a bunch. And physically, the two other things, I do spend time most days dancing, just putting on some music and dancing around. That keeps my body healthy. And I'll tell you, 2 years ago, I gave up soda. So for me, that
mm,
was pretty life changing, and feel much better for having done so. So that would be physically. Mentally, I spend a lot of time in reflection and curiosity. I had
mm,
such a busy life coming into the season I'm in now, where it was just go, like it was the typical kind of American go, 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 do, try to achieve, try to get more. And I didn't know that I wasn't taking a lot of time for thinking. So
mm,
reflection. Also, I love to read a lot of books. I prefer audiobooks, but a lot of that. So I can learn, I can learn what I don't know. So I also put
yeah.
myself in rooms, or I try to meet people who have skills different than mine, because I don't know what I don't know. I can go look for
Hmm.
something I know I don't know, but if I don't know it, I have to be around people
Yeah.
that spark my curiosity.
Yeah.
Spirituality, it's all about surrender. I've had to learn that I can't do it. Like you mentioned, like it's not me writing, and my 3
Hmm.
a.m. wake ups, which happen often. It's a wonderful time for me to just sit in prayer and just be so happy to be on a journey that I'm on, and feel so much peace and so much joy being on this journey. And then financially, I always look to make sure that my flow of finances is again matching my intention and my values, which is a
Mm,
little bit harder to do nowadays than people think about. And then emotionally, just building my community, people, and thank goodness for Zoom, because I live out here in the middle of nowhere right now. And so Zoom keeps me connected to amazing
yeah.
people who constantly encourage me and build me up and teach me things. So
Yeah. Very good. All right. So let's discuss my favorite power generating concept. It's called a Kaizen state of mind. And it's this
okay.
beautiful Japanese idea that small incremental improvements add up over time to yield great big results. It's so powerful because it's about mindset, not circumstance. So Kaizening life is knowing I can always do something better tomorrow than today. It creates a gentle, relentless, never-ending power that keeps lifting me higher and higher day after day after day. So Melissa, how does Kaizening your life help you increase your power to continuously become more so you can continue giving more and impacting even more lives?
Yeah, I think just taking those small, faithful steps. Like every day I wake up and I look at a board that reminds me of my vision and my mission. And it reminds me of the people who I've surrounded myself with, inner circle, outer circle. And it also reminds me of the people that I need in my life so I don't miss them if I happen to walk by them. And that's just a small thing every day I do. And then I ask, what is the thing I can do today that's of the highest value to the outcome of Elevate Villages?
Mm.
And that's what I do. If it's something that's fun, if it's something that's not fun, if it's something I dread, I ask myself that question every morning.
Yeah, I just had a conversation with one of my younger daughters who's learning the skill in life that doing what you know needs to be done, whether you want to do it or not, is one of the secrets to success and happiness. And you just described that. I just texted that off this morning.
It
Um,
really is like it's the faithfulness in the small steps that builds momentum. It's not like
yeah,
the big, huge, I'm gonna, charge out of the gate. It's those small steps.
yeah, and being mindful of it too. The famous line from a mom: "Don't if you don't throw your clothes on the floor, you don't have to pick them up." And so,
Exactly true.
organizing your life, and that's also a part of alignment. So you
It
mentioned that
is.
also. If you are not doing things that you don't need to be doing in your life, you don't need as much energy to get your life done. And then if you're building energy on top of that, then it looks almost like your life is easy because it kind of is easy because you're not doing things that are not aligned with what you care about.
You're right. You're right. You're not wasting time. You're not creating more work for yourself than you have to. Absolutely. I
Right.
love it.
Right. So let's explore purpose. That's the second part of our happy formula. And I've observed that major life transformations, that big discovery of purpose, often sadly comes from devastation. Addiction, abuse, disease, death, disaster, some horrible thing strips a life to its core, resulting in a big, often unexpected change. However, in my book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I share the transformational process that I've used to discover the purpose of my life using inspiration. So, how about you, Melissa? Was there a specific moment or event or crisis or inspiration that revealed to you the unique and distinct purpose you were meant to live?
That's such a complex question. I'm going to try to answer that as concisely as I can. However, I do have to go back to about 6 years old. When I was a child, and I was raised in a
Six? Did you say
six,
six? Okay.
6 years old. Yep, one more than five. Um, I was raised in a very, very religious household. And so I was always very, like, very fervent for God, always.
Mm.
And early on, I would have these dreams, and I think they started after like a missions conference or something where, I told God I would do whatever he wanted. And I would go be a missionary back, in the 70s. That meant like you were going to go to Africa,
Yeah.
in my little 6-year-old mind. But I was committed to it. And I started having this one dream repeatedly. And I was in a
Mm.
village in Africa, and this like monster, like beast would come out of the forest or out of the jungle, and all the kids were everywhere. And I would rush to the kids and I would say, run, run, run. And I would position myself in the gap between the kids and the monster. And I would be there, and the kids would get more distant, and I would turn around and look at the monster. And that's right when the dream would end. It's when I would wake up. And
Mm.
I don't know if it was a nightmare or a dream. Sometimes it probably frightened me more than other times. But I had that recurring dream very vividly, probably 40 times
Mm.
into my young adult life. And I never really knew what it meant, but it always felt like it meant something. So
Mm.
fast forward, I started some businesses. I became a ballroom dance competitor. I had a big life. Like from the outside in United States of America, people would have said, wow, she arrived. She has it all. I was married, no children. However, in the middle of that, I always did some volunteering, and I was volunteering in at-risk youth organization. And I ended up with a 15-year-old girl coming home with me because they were going to put her in a homeless shelter.
Mm.
Long story, but I unofficially fostered her for a year. And during that time, I learned a lot about youth and foster care and what happens when they age out. But she
Mm.
had a great outcome. She had me. Her mom got her life cleaned up and worked very hard to get her kids back. And so my life goes on, and I'm still dancing. And on the outside, everything was great. On the inside, things were crumbling. My marriage was crumbling. My business was crumbling. but I was still like running forward. So I was in Monaco in Europe. And
So what to help our audience understand what was causing the crumbling? Why did things begin to crumble?
it's a great question. Um, like if I could give you a spiritual answer, I think that God had given me a lot of success and experiences to build who I was, but he needed me to go a different direction. And I don't know if I didn't see it or if this was his way of showing me. I'm not,
Hmm. Okay.
that's the best I can come up with.
Okay.
Um,
So then you were in Monaco, you said,
so I'm
before I
in
interrupted you?
Monaco. I'm
Mhm.
competing for the European Pro-Am Smooth Championship. I win. It was just a beautiful experience, beautiful day. I was genuinely joyful and happy and grateful. And I was standing in my hotel room overlooking the Mediterranean. I had the gold medal around my neck. Really 20 years of training and focus to have
How,
gotten where I got.
how long ago was this?
This was in 2014, so a little
Okay.
over 10 years ago.
Okay.
And I sat there just so grateful and I'm like just kind of glowing in how wonderful the day was. And the other half of my brain was like, this is as good as this life gets. Like, this is it. You've
Hmm.
got businesses, you're constantly stressed, you're grinding all the time. And yes, you're also living this dream, but it's not like this is it. And it wasn't
Hmm.
enough, Matt. I just
Hmm.
was like, I don't, even if it's this day that I relive every day for the rest of my life, like, what's it for? It means
Right.
nothing. And
Right.
that dream, so going back to the childhood dream, that came back. And I
Hmm.
thought, I'm doing volunteer work, whatever. I'm giving some money here and there, but am I really affecting change? Am I standing in the gap for some population against a monster? And
Hmm.
the answer was no.
Hmm.
And I went back home and I started looking at all of the things falling apart. And gradually they, just all cleared from my life. And I moved forward to pursue what is that thing? What is that thing that I'm supposed to be doing? Where is my purpose? So fast forward a few years and I wasn't finding it. And I had tried a bunch of things and I was learning so much and I was on this really strange journey I never would have picked. And I got to the end of my rope one day and I was just mad. And I wasn't particularly close to God in my spiritual walk at this point. But I just like, God, what do you want from me? I was just done. Like I
Hmm.
left that whole life to try to create something better and I can't find it and everything keeps falling apart. And I yelled at God and I fell on the bed and just sort of like in tears, just cried and cried and I fell asleep. And I
Hmm.
really, literally, there was a storm that night and I thought I was going to get struck by lightning because I was so
Hmm.
angry at God. But instead, at 3 a.m. or about 3:14, I had this very distinct vision. And it was of a
Hmm.
village, but not a village in Africa. It was a village here. It had tiny homes. And there were youth, not children, but there were youth. And I knew in my dream that they had all aged out of foster care. And they
Hmm.
were learning skills and trades. And they were working at little businesses we had in the village. And they were eating dinner together and sitting around a campfire at night talking about stories. And when the vision ended, I can't even say I woke up because it was not a dream, it was a vision. I knew that
Hmm.
God was like,
That's great.
that's it. And
Hmm.
so that was 3 years. That was October of 22. And so ever since I said, okay, God, what do I do? And he said, go. I said, okay. So I started going and talking about it and researching and learning. And I found I could be a dog sitter and have a roof over my head, but have very little thing to distract me from building
Yep.
elevated villages.
That's great. So I don't even know how to bring this up, but I want you to, it's going to put a bad light on me, but it's going to give a good light for you to tell your story. As I was thinking about this interview and the particular problem that kids aging out of the system have, I have a, I was just thinking there's a negative connotation that is given to those kids for absolutely nothing that they've ever done,
Yeah.
but they still have to carry it like there's some sort of a hoodlum.
Yeah.
So take a couple of minutes and just talk about that and that drive that gives you to help these children and for our audience who's listening to recognize that bad thought that popped into my head. That's everywhere they go to get a job, to get a rent, to everything they do. Not only do they not have the support, but they're getting hammered all around them.
Right. They get over policed. They get, like everything is dissected. And I don't know, like, I'm actually curious, Matt, what comes up for you? Like, what's the negative thing that you innocently, like they're in the shadows. That's why we don't know. But what is it that you think
And
society puts on them
the
that you
shadows are, yeah, the shadows are scary. I think there's a mentality like you've mentioned over policed before, and as soon as you said that, I'm thinking, come on, they're not over policed, and I wasn't thinking about, I was thinking just in general, but you were talking specifically kids in
Mhm.
the system,
Yes, yes.
and so kids in the system, I carry this horrible connotation, if that's the right way to say it, that you're there for a reason. You're living the life you're living for a reason, but
Mhm.
not if you don't have parents when you're born. He didn't do
Right,
anything.
right.
And so I really have thought about this, and I don't know if it's beyond me, but I suspect it is. I suspect
Oh, it is.
society
Yeah.
puts these kids as second or third class citizens, and for nothing that they have done. And so
Yeah.
if you graduate from high school in the system and you go looking for a job, you should be like considered a superstar, not a problem kid. But I
Correct.
suspect so.
Yeah, they have survived way more than you and I could ever imagine.
Right.
And yet they're not given, like, they're not looked at as, wow, you're very resourceful and you're like a survivor. We want you. You're going to figure it out.
Right.
Instead, they're like, oh, you're one of those bad kids.
Yeah.
And often it's because imagine if you're 8 years old, maybe your dad was never in the picture and your mom had mental illness or addicted or whatever, and she goes into the system somewhere else. You get pulled out. You don't have any family, and now you're from home to home to home into some group
Yeah.
homes, which often are the worst. Maybe some good homes, and then it could be a great home that you're doing good in, and they
Pull you
did
out
get
of it.
divorced, or they have a
Yeah.
kid and they're like, oh, we can't afford another kid. And for
Yeah.
zero reason of what you did wrong, you get placed. So imagine by your seventh or eighth home, you're going to stop trying to
Yeah.
connect. You're going to stop
Yeah.
trying to belong, and you're probably going to start being a problem. So I think
Mhm.
when they become that, that's when they sort of get that bad rap
Mhm.
on them. And instead of unwrapping that and giving them the support and the help that they need, we just
Right.
make it worse.
Yeah.
Half of the boys, or I think 70% of the boys who age out will end up incarcerated.
Yeah. That's
They're
tragic.
not, and like you said, ultimately it ends up being them, but it's because
Yeah.
no one ever gave them an opportunity and nobody ever went in and helped them belong and give them an opportunity. And that's
Yeah.
what they need. They need to belong. They need to have a family. So at Elevate Villages, they're going to have their family.
Very good. All right. Wow. Thank you for that, Melissa. Now let's take a quick commercial break so our sponsor can spread a little love with our audience.
Hey, Charlotte, it's time to get ready. Get set. Let's work. Mark your calendars for April 24th and join us for WITV7's Financially Lit and Fit Expo. We're bringing together youth innovators, community leaders, sponsors, vendors, and employers for a powerful day of financial literacy, career readiness, and opportunity. Showcase your brand, connect with motivated students, and make an impact that lasts. Don't miss it. Save the date for April 24th. For more information, visit WITV7.org. WITV7 is empowering minds and building futures.
Are you ready to transform your life? At happyliving.com, we've discovered 4 keys to help you live with purpose, joy, and significance. Unlock your truth with the Happy Quiz. Unlock your happy formula with inspiring stories from the Something Significant Show. Unlock your roadmap to happiness with our free ebook, Making Your Mark of Significance. And unlock your inspired life with our life-changing e-course, The Philosophy of You and Your Inspired Life. This is your time to shine. Go to happyliving.com now and click Unlock the Power of You. Unlock your power. Live your best life. happyliving.com.
And we're back, and this is the Something Significant Show, and I'm your host, Matt Gersper. And my special guest star today is Melissa Kaye, a former championship dancer turned purpose-driven philanthropist and founder of Elevate Villages. With discipline forged through artistry and a heart shaped by compassion, Melissa channels passion into service. She empowers underserved youth to rise, rebuild, and believe in what's possible. Her grace, courage, and faith-infused leadership makes her a powerful example of how a calling grows when talent meets love. Melissa, I just love that and what you're doing. And I think you're going to love this article that I found. It's called The Science Behind the Power of Giving. It tells us that the simple act of giving can become a gateway for discovering your reason for being on the planet. Science confirms that when we give our time or our talents or treasures, it doesn't just help others, but it transforms us too. It helps us overcome obstacles, it helps us find meaning, and it helps us discover our purpose. So I updated our formula. Power plus purpose plus giving equals really happy. So how about you, Melissa? Has giving your time, talents, and treasure been a powerful pathway for discovering your purpose and for getting through hardships and heartbreak and for bringing real meaning into your life?
Yeah, so many, such a yes. So when you said that, I have like 3, 4, 5 different things that are all colliding. First off, when the day was there that there was a 15-year-old that needed a home, and I said, I'm taking her, like in 6 hours, my life was completely changed. But in giving of that kind of included my time, my talent, and my treasure. That, of course, led me to the journey I'm on now. And that was almost 15 years ago. But it was an unequivocal yes. Like I didn't stop and think about it. I didn't stop and figure out all the ways why I shouldn't. It was just a yes. And when you were saying that, that's what I realized. Like all those times that I've given my time because somebody needed me, those are never the times I looked back on. I was like, gosh, I wish I hadn't done that, or given my talent. Like if I have it, you can use it. And it's definitely led me to where I am today. And it's also led me to where I am with no fear. Now, it's not that I think the road's easy or it's going to be fun. Like there's going to be hard times. There's going to be tears shed, but I don't have fear that, is this right? Is it not? How can I do this? Like it has to be done. And because I have a track record of seeing how giving is never something that I regret, I don't have to even worry moving forward. Yeah, that's great. So the science tells us that giving to others helps bring real meaning to our lives, and the joy we feel when we're doing the work that creates value for others, that confirms it. But there's something more to it than just the giving, Melissa. You see, I believe that the magic of life comes when you're giving from living in your purpose, in your reason for being, because that's where the joy flows, and not just to the receiver, but to the giver too, and even to people witnessing the giving. So now, Melissa, I'd love our audience to witness what that magic looks like in your life. So sit back, open your heart, and have a listen to what people are saying about the impact that you're making in their lives because you're giving from living in your purpose. One person told me, Melissa doesn't just advocate for belonging, she quietly, gracefully fights for it with a relentless heart. Another said her giving isn't serving, it's hospitality. And another, Melissa has a genuine heart for kids. Others said she refuses to accept the quiet disappearance of young adults once the system kicks them out. Her leadership isn't performative, it's lived day in and day out. She's kind, caring, a natural giver. Loving, welcoming, she gives the best hugs. Passionate, tenacious, and fearless. A risk taker, a goal setter, a dreamer. Optimistic, courageous, she's inspired me to be a better human. Other people build programs to sell. Melissa builds people so that they will thrive. She makes you feel at ease. She's like a honeycomb dripping with honey, but her honey is pure love, and everyone around her gets sticky with it. And finally, this person said simply, I feel Melissa is an angel sent here to do work that so many others just won't do. So, Melissa, how's all that incredible love make you feel? Ooh. I don't know that I deserve that love, but I will gratefully take it. Thank you. Wow.
And that's it, folks. What you see on Melissa right now, that's what this show is all about. We're here, Melissa and me and all our guest stars, to encourage you, our listeners, to find that same magic in your life. It's available for you. It's available for everyone. That's what I believe. And it comes from this great big happy circle. Giving your time, talents, and treasures is a powerful pathway for discovering your purpose. And giving from living in your purpose, from using the gifts that you've been given, giving from living in your purpose brings a profound joy to your life. You can see it on Melissa's face, and to the lives of those around you too. So it seems that giving leads to purpose, and giving from purpose leads to joy. So Melissa, if I'm going to capture the entire exponential power of our happy formula, I've got to tweak it a tiny bit more to power times purpose times giving equals happy to the third power. And that's really, truly, deeply happy. Does that sound about right to you, Melissa?
It does sound right to me. Yeah. It's like feeling like I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And it feels good. Like I wake up every morning so happy to be here.
And yep, and you mentioned it before. That's why there's no fear.
Yeah.
You might have struggle in a day, but you don't have fear. You don't have regret. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, so let's wrap things up with the lightning round. I love the power of words. We just got done with math. Now we'll go into words, and the capacity for great quotes to change lives. So I'm going to read a few that reminded me of your clarity, of your courage, and of your passion for helping young people in need. And I'm going to ask you to give us the first thoughts that pop into your head, because we like to call this a lightning round.
Okay,
So here we go.
got it. First thoughts.
First one is from Pablo Picasso, and he said, "The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away."
Yeah, you better show up. Like look in that mirror, see the best of you, and go out and give it all away. I love it.
Very good. This is from Sarah Young. She said, a life lived close to God is not complicated or cluttered.
Peace.
This is from Ralph Waldo Emerson. He said, to know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived, this is to have succeeded.
I say, if you can make one live easier, why not try to make 10, 20, 100 generations?
Yeah. From Mother Teresa, she said, it's not how much we give, but how much love we put into the giving.
Yeah, so true. You can give to try to make yourself feel better. But when you give in alignment, that's when like the love comes through. Mother Teresa, what a perfect example of someone who gave her life in service.
Yeah, giving to give is just transactional selfishness.
Yeah, well said.
It's caused by society instead of from the heart. Yeah.
Yeah. And it carries that energy with it, whether that's guilt.
Of course. Yep. Of course.
Money is an energy. So yeah, giving it out of love is the only way to make it really multiply.
Yeah. This is our show anchor. It's from Goff, and he said, whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
Let's go.
Yeah. Very good, Melissa. So these quotes aren't just words, but they mirror the grace, courage, and compassion that you live every day. They reflect how you've turned discipline into service and faith into action in the service of others. So thank you for showing us what that looks like when grace truly becomes a calling. And now, my friend, yes, and now, my friends, if Melissa's story has inspired you, if it lifted your spirit, or if it got you thinking about how you can serve others too, then I invite you to share that energy with the incredible team at WITV7 who make this show possible. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage people in need. Every gift matters, the big and the small. With your support and their tireless work, lives are being transformed, and our circle of love keeps expanding. So donate today, because it'll do good and it'll make you feel good too. Melissa, I love the way you bring grace and excellence into everything you do, never for attention, always for impact. and I admire the courage it takes to transform talent into service and calling into action, especially for those who need it the most. And I'm super happy that you shared your grace-filled, passionate, and encouraging spirit on our show today. Would you please take a moment or two and share any parting remarks you'd like to leave with our audience?
Matt, I would want to say that the world has never needed compassion and belonging more than it does now. So I believe that we truly all belong together. You belong to me, I belong to you. And I just encourage your audience every day to be open and explore what that might mean to you with the people you come across today.
Very good. Thank you, Melissa. And friends, it's because of stories like Melissa's and listeners like you that, as Melissa mentioned at the top of the show, we've just recently been named Top 100 Life Purpose Podcasts worldwide at number 17. So thank you. I appreciate your support for our mission and for sharing these stories of inspiration and purpose. I also want to thank WITV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guest stars like Melissa and reaching folks just like you ready to create your own extraordinary lives. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. If Melissa's story stirred something in you, we invite you to look into her work more deeply. You'll find all her links in our show notes, so find her, friend her, explore her work. And if Elevate Villages speaks to your heart, you're already part of the village. It's from me to you, dear friends. I love you, and I want you to be really, truly, deeply happy too. So go to happyliving.com right now and click Unlock Here and start unlocking the life you were meant to live, one that's filled with purpose and joy and real significance. And as you start unlocking, think about what we can do together, you and me, to improve the happy of your world, one person at a time. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome, and this is the Something Significant Show. And we're out.